You are listening to the Empowering Working Moms podcast, Real Talk with Dr. Prianca Naik, a show to help professional moms in survival mode to take hold of their lives and thrive. If you're ready to take powerful action to create your best life, then this is the show for you. I'm your host, Dr. Prianca Naik, board-certified internal medicine physician and certified life coach. Now let's get to it and dive in. You're listening to the Empowering Working Moms podcast, episode number 61. Well, hello there. I am so glad to have you tuning in today, listening. Welcome to the Empowering Working Moms podcast. Recently, one of my clients was actually telling me that she was able to find her voice. She really felt like she was unheard. And through our work, she learned to find her voice, speak up for herself, and basically get the job schedule and timing that she wanted, cutting back to part-time work instead of, I believe maybe she went from 0.8 to 0.6. But regardless, she is now creating more space, more time, more joy in her life. And she has learned to create small ways to connect with her kids that are not overwhelming. She feels like she's a better mother and a better spouse. So the work we are really doing here inside my coaching program, it's so remarkable and really not time intensive. I've created these streamlined processes like my 3N method to help clients like this one, like Nidhi, get out of burnout. And it is possible for you too. To learn more, join my free on-demand masterclass to end burnout and exhaustion and get your peace of mind back. So I want to talk about mindfulness and practicing it without having to meditate and really what is a larger mission of mine. So my mission is to spread a modern, fun, fresh spin on mindfulness for women like myself, professional moms, doctors, lawyers, executives, pharmaceutical execs, other kinds of doctors like veterinarians, chiropractors, you name it, who are exhausted because they've worked so hard and they really deserve to enjoy their lives. And mindfulness is such a key component of this. And you don't have to meditate for hours and hours. And I'm going to talk about that today. And why is this so important, my mission? Because mindfulness truly changed my life. Like literally, I feel like I'm a different person. It helped me to manage my anxiety, my stress, negative thoughts and emotions, and all these things that used to ruin my life. They used to make me so miserable. The stress, the anxiety, the negativity. Now they no longer have power over me. And in fact, I have power over them. So this needs to be shared. And that's what I realized, that I want to spread this concept of mindfulness can be fun. Mindfulness can change your life. And you don't have to meditate and sit for hours and hours to have that beautiful, positive impact on your life. And I realized through working with clients and even talking to my friends as well, that no one wants to sit and meditate. And this is really what led me to come up with my own easy, streamlined processes that are implementable, step by step, quick to do. It takes a matter of seconds to help deal with any and all negative emotions, stress, anxiety, and all that stuff that is so prevalent in our lives, like my 3N method. And you know what's awesome about this? My life is not only less stressful and less exhausting, and of course, no more exhaustion and burnout, but the best part of all this is I am having fun every single day. And for me, that's really what my life is about. It's about my purpose, raising my beautiful little humans, and of course, positively impacting the world. And that is why I became a physician. But I've actually found through life coaching, I have the privilege of working with moms like myself and having this impact on them. And then that, of course, has a ripple effect on their friends, their families, their children, their spouses at their jobs. And that to me is the greatest, most powerful work I can do. So how did I get here? How did I find this powerful work? Well, basically, when I became a mother, my life completely changed. And what I found was with my older child, I was working full time. I think all of my colleagues were male. And a lot of them actually had wives who either were stay-at-home moms or their jobs weren't like high-power professional jobs. So basically, I was kind of alone in my being a mom, working in a high-power job with a spouse who also worked in a high-power job. And I found myself feeling so anxious postpartum. At a certain point, it became crippling when I went back to work, and I knew that I had to make a serious change. Otherwise, I was going to have to quit my job and I wasn't going to be able to function anymore. So at that time, I would do these desperate Google searches in the middle of the night. And that led me to find a group therapy that was specifically for professionals with anxiety. And one of the prerequisites of this group was meditation. And funnily enough, I will say that group was mainly men as well, which is also what made me realize women need a place to go. And that's why I've created my own group coaching program. I digress. So back to the group. So meditation was one of the prerequisites of being a part of the group. And I had tried it in the past, but I could never really stick to it. Now, of course, when I joined this group, I am a good student and committed. So because it was something that the head therapist of this group required, I began to actually practice meditation and committed myself to doing it regularly. And also, actually, around that time, I needed to manage my stress better. So I began to exercise too, when I had hated exercise my whole life. And I started doing that when my son was a newborn. And at the time, that seemed to solve everything for me until it didn't. And that's how I dove even deeper into this work that I do. And that's a story for another time. But through regular meditation practice, I learned the tools of mindfulness. And what this did for me was help me to get distance from my thoughts and my feelings. And then I saw how powerful it was, how maybe the emotions, the thoughts, the feelings, especially the negative ones, they weren't really serving me. Even though I grew up in a home where emotions ran high and feeling itself was a good thing, which it is, but maybe it was too much. And I began to really evaluate what my thoughts and my feelings were doing in my life. And I got to choose to have the distance from the thoughts and the feelings. And that distance I began to cultivate through my mindfulness practice, which is what I ended up learning after sitting for hours and hours of meditation. But what I carried from that, which I realized I could help other people do, because nobody wants to sit for hours and hours. Nobody has the time, or they don't want to make the time, right? It's not practical to meditate constantly. So I realized that you don't have to sit for hours and hours to find peace. And actually, you can do it in a matter of seconds. And that is how I created my own processes, my own modern mindfulness fun processes inside my coaching program, including my 3N method. And these mindfulness practices really have two benefits. One is that you no longer have to be owned by your thoughts and your feelings. And that is so powerful. You actually have the power. You can own your thoughts and feelings as long as you practice a little bit of mindfulness. And you can know that bad stuff will pass, that this too shall pass. And number two, when you're practicing mindfulness, and maybe I didn't really define mindfulness, but being mindful is being in the present moment, being aware of your thoughts and your feelings and noticing. It's really just being aware and noticing. So when you can be mindful, that's how you become an observer of your thoughts and feelings. You're no longer one with them. You get to have distance from them. And that's how you empower yourself to not let them own you, if that makes sense. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to email me at prianca@stresscleansemd.com, and I'd be happy to elaborate further. Okay, so back to the two benefits of mindfulness. The second benefit of mindfulness is really being able to be present, and especially being present for all of the good times. And there is so much beauty that life has to offer. And this can be anything from a small thing like a hug or a major life event. And I will say that before being mindful, I really let my life pass me by. And there's nothing I can do about that now, right? And I never really soaked in those moments. But now, post this work, Post having mindfulness in my life is so much richer. And I literally get chills when I'm talking about this because I get to really feel moved by the powerful moments in my life. And most recently, celebrating my 40th birthday with friends was the most meaningful. I'm like getting choked up thinking about it, but people showing up for me and celebrating with me in such an important time in my life. And I'm so grateful to them. And they've also seen me through the darker times too, but just the consistency of the same people who have loved and cared about me for like 20 years and plus. So anyway, the point is I'm sitting here crying about that, and I'm not going to edit this. This is real. This is raw. But the point of telling that is that I got to experience, for example, that beauty in all of its splendor and really be present for it. And I have memories of celebrating my birthday that will stay with me for a lifetime. A shout out to my friends who were there for that. So thank you so much. So with mindfulness, we get to cultivate peace of mind at any given moment because we get distance from our thoughts and our feelings, but we can also be present and not be distracted, not scrolling on our phone. We can focus on our breath, let's say, and really be where we are and have that memory and just enjoy while we're there. So meditating, I realized that mindfulness is really something that anyone can implement. So you get to be having fun and enjoy things and be present. And you have that easy awareness that you can sit with the negativity, let's say, and notice it and not go down the negative spiral or the rabbit hole and really just hone in on your mind-body connection. And what I really did is, as you can imagine, I'm a physician. I have my master's in neuroscience. And I say all this because I clearly have the scientific background, and also I obviously am diligent. I'm a hard worker. So what I did was I put this science and I put this hard work and I applied it to living my life. And that is why this coaching has been so powerful for me, and it is for my clients too. And I get to reap the benefits of my streamlined processes that are easy to do to really enjoy life. And I teach my clients to do the same. My client, Lena, who is a pharma exec and she has 2 young kids, she really, after working with me, has been enjoying her life, doing what she wants to do, what she sees as fun. She has her weekend time back. She's no longer overfilling it. She takes walks. She's gotten into guitar practice again. And she was even considering becoming a volunteer firefighter, which is so cool. But when she started with me, she was dreading the day, and now she's actually really enjoying her life and creating everything she wants. And she had asked me, it was music to my ears. She asked me, where do I go from here when we were wrapping up? And I said, well, shit's going to come up and you have the tools and you will use them. So that's what we do inside Overcome Burnout for Good, inside my life coaching program. We've got these easy implementable tools that really not only gets women out of burnout, out of exhaustion, out of dreading the day, but really they get to create their best life. They get to enjoy their lives. And it's just like a little bit of sprinkling of magic into it, truly. And you will find yourself having fun because that is what this is about. Life is too short to not enjoy it. If you want to have a streamlined process to be out of burnout, out of exhaustion, and truly enjoying your life again, book a call with me and get started on this work. It's going to work faster than therapy, yoga, or self-help books, or whatever Google searches and articles you might be wasting your time reading. Because yeah, those are helpful, but you really need an organized, research-based, streamlined process that works. Prianca Naik, mdcoaching.as.me. Book a call with me to get started. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Empowering Working Moms podcast, Real Talk with Dr. Prianca Naik. If you are ready to get unstuck and out of survival mode to live your best life, I want to invite you to book a free 30-minute consultation call with me. To get started, visit priancanaikmdcoaching.as.me. Link in the show notes.